Turn up your sound system to the sound of Carlos Santana in the GMB Ghetto and Blues from the refugee camp.
Maria, Maria, she remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem, she living a life just like a movie star. By Carlos Santana. Stop the looting, stop shooting, pickpocketing on the corner. See, as the rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer. See me and Maria on the corner, thinking of ways to make it better. In my mailbox, there's an eviction letter. Somebody judge and see you later. East Coast.
Hey, Deja, Wagwan! Wagwan! What's good, family?
She remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem. She living the life just like a movie star. Maria, Maria. She fell in love in East LA. I said it to the sound of the guitar, yeah. Played by Carlos Santana. I said a la favela, local notice. The streets are getting hotter. There is no water to put out the fire. Mi contar esperanza. See me and Maria on the corner, thinking of ways to make it better. Then I look up in the sky, hoping that there's a paradise.
Hey, hold on, the real coming through. You said, okay, hold on, whoa. Told you I'd be changing my name a lot. It's Swag God, whatever. Okay, got you. But whatever name you still feel like resonates with you and how you'd like to be addressed, by all means, give me them live patch notes and updates, man. Hopefully they come with more Grace and Valorants and Overwatches, bro. Cause oh my, it was like, dude, it felt like, you know when you come on with like a bad like grade or like report card or some shit like that. It's one of those things, bro. It's like every single patch note or like, you know, newsletter was just brought some fucking dread with it. That shit was wild. Anyway, let's get back to it so I can actually start the stream. Oh yeah.
When the wind blows, I can feel you through the weather, and even when we are apart, still feel like we're together. My yeah. She remind me of a West Side Story. Of growing up in Spanish Harlem. She living the life just like a movie star. Oh, Maria, Maria. Oh, she fell in love in East LA. To the sound of the guitar. Played by Carlos Santana.
Put 'em up, y'all. Carlos Santana with the refugee camp. Wyclef, Jerry Wonder, Mr. Santana.
Something special, unforgettable. 50 Cent, just stand, simple lane, goddamn. She want it, I wanna give it to her. She know that it's right here for her. I wanna see her break it down. I'm ballin', blowing money round.
She a work girl, she work the pole, she break it down, she take it low, she fine as hell, she bout the dough, she doing a thing out on the floor. Her money, she make it, look at the way she shake it, make you want to touch it, make you want to taste it. How you lustin' for it, going crazy, facing now, don't stop, get it, the way she shake it, make you wanna hit it. Then she double jointed from the way she split it, got your head fucked up from the way she did it. She's so much more than you used to. She knows just how to move to seduce you. She gon' do the right thing and touch the right spots and dance on your lap till you ready to pop. She always ready when you want it. She want it like an info. The info I show you where to meet her on the late night till daylight. The club jumping if you want a good time. She gon' give you what you want.
Baby, you're so new age, you're like my new craze. Let's get together, maybe we can start a new phase. The smoke's got the club all hazy, spotlights don't do you justice, baby. Why don't you come over here? You got me saying, hey, oh, I'm tired of using technology. Why don't you sit down on top of me? Hey, oh, I'm tired of using technology. I need you right in front of me. She won't sit. She won't sit, she won't sit, so I gotta give it to her. She won't sit, she won't sit, she won't sit, so I gotta give it to her.
Your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized. Let me tell you, your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized. Let me tell you, your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized. Let me tell you, your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized.
Got a thing for that thing she got, the way she make it tick, the way she make it pop, I make it rain for her, so she don't stop. I ain't got the move, I can sit, watch, in the fantasy, it's plain to see just how it be, her and me. Backstroking, sweat soaking, no length to my set sheets. When she ready to ride, I'm ready to roll. I'll be in this bitch till the club close, watching her do what thing on all fours. Now that this shit begins to low, from side to side, left to right, break it down, down, down. You know I like when you hype and you throw it all around. Different style, different groove. Damn, I like the way you move. Girl, you got me thinking about all the things I do to you. Let's get it poppin', shout it. We can switch positions. From the couch to the counters in my kitchen.
Baby, you're so new age, you're like my new craze. Let's get together, maybe we can start a new phase. The smoke's got the club all hazy, spotlights don't do you justice, baby. Why don't you come over here? You got me saying, hey, oh, I'm tired of using technology. Why don't you sit down on top of me? Hey, oh, I'm tired of using technology. I need you right in front of me. She won't sit, she won't sit, she won't sit, so I gotta give it to her. She won't sit, she won't sit, she won't sit, so I gotta give it to her.
Your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized. Let me tell you, your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized. Let me tell you, your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized. Let me tell you, your hips, your thighs, it got me hypnotized. Let me tell you.
Yo, these 4 new jacks is real smooth on the Harmony tip. Make Mike shine the one, you know the mentality. Keep slipping the gift.
The spotlight is on us now. Watch us do this.
sing. They came up to me, I said, well, what's your name? Hey, you know what I'm saying? And then I said, alright, fellas, well, let me see what you can do. And then a smile when they won and said, yo, Mike, check this out. See if this one moves you.
Yo, real recognize real. I see the hearts, bro, but chill out. That shit gotta be stressful on your, I don't know if that's a wrist or the finger or whatever, bro, but hey, yo, love, respect. Respect, let's turn this bitch up. Hold on, if I can find the nozzle again. Damn.
Take one.
I'ma sit back with a blunt. You put my hand in the cuffs. Can't touch. Walk from the back to the front. Arch and look back at the butt. I want you to strut. Turn. I want you to strut. Yeah, I want you to strut. Walk from the back to the front. Arch and look back at the butt. I want you to strut.
Baby, I need you to strut. Walk like you don't give a fuck. Look at you, bad to the bone. You thick too? Yeah, that's a plus. Damn. Whole lot of junk in the trunk. Like, damn, can I get a touch? I won't tell nobody nothing, just trust. Look how she walked from the back to the front. From the pole, show bitches why you the one. You the red bottom heels, or you came here to stunt. Or you came with a mission, you getting it done. Yup. Oh, that's cool. That's what you're supposed to do. Girl, whenever you run into me, it's just one thing I need you to do.
I want you to strut. Turn. I want you to strut. I want you to strut. Yeah, I want you to. Booty says she wanna fuck, but she cannot leave till I nut. Fuck it, I'm calling her bluff, but then she says she like when it's rough. Whoa, could tell by the way that she strut, bro. Bugattis is making her butt grow. 4 shots of Don off her lace, so come let me rip off your front toe. I want you to strut to the beat, then drop, make sure that you lift up your feet. It got me and Jan on a beat at Zeddy. Okay, then it is a big 3. Fuck, I can't waste time with a bitch. I'm Jenny, I shoot like I'm Mellow from D. And if she not my boo, still might dribble that long as she know how to keep it low key. I want you to strut, 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 turn. I want you to strut, 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 strut. Yeah, I want you to.
Alright, good evening, y'all. There we go. Now, I'm not gonna lie, today, shit, what do I have? Like, what accolade can I attach to the day, or how the day went for me? Actually, I'm more curious as to how y'all are doing. I mean, usually, I think I do not a lot of introspection, like, oh, dude, I'm so depthful and fucking self-aware, and this, that, and the third, and it's like my own dick. I don't mean it like that. I'm always in, like, I feel like I can't get up out this bitch. I'm just in a little paradigmatic prison of overthinking, overanalyzing myself, prior actions, contemporary actions, you know, looking at them two side by side. It gets very gratuitous, bro, especially day by day, especially when you can't turn that bitch off. But something that hasn't been getting turned off, or I guess something that is currently turned on, is me, in proxy to this Fire Emblem shit. I was supposed to be a segue. I know, no more sexual allegories, my bad, but it's Fire Emblem Fortune's Sweet. Need I remind y'all of, hold on, if this isn't like, and actually, perfect timing, bro. There's apparently some early hands-on gameplay going down, so we got that to check out. And apparently, the Fire Emblem lore is dark in and of itself, which is an additional factor. Like, I feel like our capitalist hellscape of a society is dark enough, but I don't think that it's to the point where, like, again, I think that we can have constructive criticism and not overanalyzation, but good creative critique when we actually make worlds that are dark and mirror our own. Shout out Metaphor, man. I just think that is a very beautiful thing to have a piece of media, a piece of film, actually hold up a mirror to society's eyes and be like, look, nigga, this is what it is, this is what's going down, and we can reform and reflect, or we're gonna turn the mirror around and get back to the manually ambiguous, or just morally manually ambiguous. You get what I'm trying to get at. Morally, damn, I'm bugging, bro. I'm just happy to see y'all. Unemployment gang, right? Yeah, that's another thing, bro. That is another thing that we have ample time. Ideally, if I say my P's and Q's, shout out Uzi. Matter of fact, I might put on an instrumental for P's and Q's. But that being said, yes, and that is a conversation. I'm not sure if I'm gonna save it for when more people come through tonight. Because again, bro, I mean, I've already made endless jokes about YouTube and the way they be shooting out notification, bro. And recently, again, like, it's actually been a little bit worse for niggas who are like, hey, Aries, I didn't even know this shit was going down. That's tough. So even with the Discord and shit like that, I'm trying to make sure that everybody's in the know. And again, we got it's gonna be like a little bit of a long stream with a multitude of things that we're doing. Ideally, again, finishing the rest of that House of the Dragon. I'm pushing that off to a little bit. I finally found a method so we can stream it on YouTube, have people pull up to the Twitch, and nobody gets hurt. No fire and bossing say, and then get up out of there before any of the YouTube mods notice anything. Ideally. But there's also a weekend curated playlist. And again, yo, I went to like the first track in the middle. Don't think this is some pre-watch shit. I was like, dude, we gotta have this as an orgy, bro. This cannot be a standalone orgasmic finish. I gotta get niggas involved. Oh, actually, ideally, no orgy with niggas involved. I mean, respectfully, but like, at least my orgies. I don't think I've actually had an orgy like that. Recent memory. Let me think. Anyway, yo, all right, let's hit this segue, bro. Which actually that was a pretty bad one. I guess in terms of this timeline thing, I think we should put that on a back burner and check out recent gameplay. The Nodies suck for real. I don't know what's going on, bro, and I'm not trying to be one of them niggas that constantly remind you that, again, like, whoa, most love, hated, and damn, niggas really did not fuck with, I keep forgetting bro's name. And to be fair, he was put in a crazy position, like, his wife is up in Tumbleton, so what was he finna do? For real. Like, let's be honest. Alright, hold on. Fire Emblem hands on. Let me think. Oh shit, I think that was about the Twitch using, and that's another thing, man. What is going on, bro? Twitch is apparently having an automated toggle for having your streams be used for training AI, and I think that is crazy. Multitude of ways, because that isn't even, you know, that transcends the, oh, I might be putting like a Black Mirror box and some nigga might get like a brain copy of my, that's like future 10, at least hopefully not. That's some bad timeline shit, some Sonic CD. I'm cool off that, but better than 3 houses. Niggas are already getting glazed. So hold on, I just couldn't stop playing. Let me see. All right, hold on, let's go with Nintendo Life. I'm interested to see what Nintendo Life is talking about. Some Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave on the Switch. Okay, good, nuanced opinion. Well, let me not automatically assume that because female presenting, not female pretending, female presenting But usually women, you have like more nuanced takes and more emotional intelligence. Again, not only because society doesn't really cater niggas to have that shit in their toolkit, but it's just, I guess it is what it is. I'm not trying to be on some biological shit, but from what I've noticed in the narrative that I've been taking note of, it seems like women are definitely better at encapsulating not only, I was gonna go with the romantic at the forefront of my side. I think the actual relationships between different characters, interpersonal navigation, the actual, is it worth it for having niggas crash out, risk their life for other people? And I feel like Fire Emblem, if you get what I'm getting at, it's kind of going to be a just solid of all those different facets within the narrative, which the narrative itself, gang, I've been hearing this is one of the ones that, like, Fire Emblem, this is the Fire Emblem, on top of it being one of the best Switch 2 games to come out, and even since Splatoon Raiders, which that was just around the corner. But without further ado, let me not actually cut into this. Yo, I own an iPod, right? Modding is a shit. This just... Yeah, it's an iPod, bro. You got like 4 buttons. Spent like 3 hours for nothing. Had to cool down here. Yo, again, bro. I mean, I'm not sure if this is the right place to be to cool down, man. It's Fire Emblem. Niggas about to be getting hot. Me included, bro. I gotta actually get the AC on, bro.
I'm not alone, because I've got one feisty hero? Yeah, let's
Switch
say that. We've got a feisty hero here in the name of
Switch
Jim.
to this. Switch to this, I'm telling you.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
I'm spicy. I'm very warm. There's another heat wave in London. So it seems only fitting that we're talking about the fire themes game that we're talking about today.
Hold on. You know what? Matter of fact, I know what I just said. I promise you I'm not being dichotomous with my word. But we might need to find a more because there's a lot of things we need to do. And I didn't realize it was going to be them not necessarily talking in monotone, but like kind of, you know, like I'm not going to say it was dragging, but I feel like it would have just been broaching it on a conversation. I'd rather somebody give me like a more like, you know, bite size, better than Three Houses. Okay, hands on. That might have to be the one. Yeah, this is gameplay. You know what? Yeah, because I want someone to actually break down. Okay, yeah, this looks like somebody that can indoctrinate us even further.
Even
bro.
after
Saying it's
playing
better
through the first handful
Aaron
of
Potter.
chapters, Fortune's
Break it down.
Weave is already shaping up to be the most ambitious Fire Emblem entry yet.
Niggas are calling it anime chess, gang, and that's in between these high quality. I guess high Q still works. Like this cutscenes, bro, the voice acting. Oh my god, again. Charlie's Chocolate Factory. I'm so with it. Let's continue.
The royal procession shall be.
And we got some classes narrative, please.
Playing through Fire
Anime
Emblem
chess is what I'm saying.
Weave,
Yo, Kizo was good. What the hell
being
was that
able to
frame
enjoy
rate? Oh yeah, shit's getting acclimated, bro.
made by
Hopefully,
the
speaking of frame rate, this doesn't blow the Switch you up. Now that last pause I did, pause. Pronunciation. I'm not gonna be on no I'm Dante shit. I guess I'm just gonna keep abusing and using this. I think it's pretty fun. No shots, Mr. Dante, my bad, bro. But I'm not gonna be pausing too much. At least like maybe I'll hit a mute to actually convey my thoughts and compartmentalize them in live time. But let's continue.
Of their craft.
Okay.
Several decades into this series of turn-based tactic RPGs we might be, yet somehow,
how's your day going, by the way,
some way,
Kizo? On your desktop,
developer
is that good?
intelligence systems
Your chest
is
is
still
accurate,
managing to
wow.
find all new ways to bring
love
added
chess,
depth
bro.
to this Nintendo-exclusive franchise that's operating at the peak of its power. Well, as if it was ever in doubt, the same
Look at
appears
those
to be
dreads,
true for
bro.
this next mainline installment.
And we got some melanin. Oh my god.
Three Houses Harry Potter-like wizard school setup for a world and characters that feels far more
time.
Game of Thrones inspired.
Yes! Yeah, we about to get in the House of the Dragon. Yo, fire. I got it.
Is if Game of Thrones saw you travel through time, frequently whip out gun gauntlets, and
you can shoot a nigga in West. Yo, that's like pulling up to Westeros, fucking dragon nigga for Dracarys, bro. I just got a gun. That's crazy. That's gonna be. Hey T, yo T, Kizo was telling me and reminding me, and honestly, god damn, sorry, we must stay focused. My fault, Dr. Umar. Actually, I think she had some melanin on her. I couldn't tell. I was moving too fast. But yo, Kizo reminded me we need to get your shit. Bare minimum, like worst case scenario, to like end of the night, just because of all these things. Like I can't even have like a. Dude, I'm gonna save it. But we catch. Oh, and then you did say you wanted to wait for the, you know, the Frank Ocean effect. That's true. Okay.
Is facing absolute destruction, the game wastes no time in raising the stakes within this unabashedly epic framing device that sees you name and create
kind
your
of
own
fucking up with the
legendary
melon,
hero.
so they took a
One
step in the right
charge with
direction.
stopping
Yeah, I
the
think in
furor
the
of the evil forces
outside of the
threatening
art,
to end
they
it
get
all.
whitewashed. I
Fire
feel like when they're
Emblem
actually
Fortune's
cutscenes and
Weave
shit like that.
appropriately epic
Russian, not my
fashion
god, but
then,
still,
gifting
I'm
me with my
trying to tap
own
into this shit.
overpowered warrior while learning the basics of how turn-based battles
Hey,
work.
damn,
For the
yo,
most part,
that
it's
nigga
a
hit a switch,
familiar
bro. He started
affair, with
sprinting.
the task being to take
Shark star.
control of different unit
Let me turn
classes
this
and
down
move
a
them
little
around the combat field.
Let me know if the art is
from
good,
an
by the way,
overhead
y'all.
view while trying to fend off a set number of enemies or protect a particular target. As far as tutorials go, choosing the end of days as your
I
backdrop
love the
makes it a fun
nuance in
one
the
to play
characters,
through,
bro.
and did much
You
to
focus.
prove to me that Fire Emblem's brand of turn-based tactics is still some of the best around. Fortune's Weave brings some slightly new gameplay elements into the mix, however, in the form of new blaze art attacks. These work similarly to the character-specific combat art
Jakaris, bro, come on.
the exception that they will
Want some real album rollout shit.
instead of
Timing is
your
everything.
ability,
That's a fact.
granting Kai the ability to
fact.
destroy foes on 5 grids at once, and allowing Dietrich
Wow.
to teleport a great distance.
So niggas are Endermen, fucking ballistic missile, like UAV inbound, bro. UAV inbound.
5 if you include your future custom protagonist. This
Okay.
ensures you're never at risk of draining your entire team's worth of health to the point of failure. Overall, so far, Blaze Arts feel like a subtle but impactful
How many
addition
bad
to the
bitches?
wider
Like, okay, again, ladies, excuse my language if that's not how y'all want to be referred to. Again, I can't tell, and I'm already forsaking my word. Let me mute into the pause. But the amount of oh my god. Yo! I know I'm not bugging. I woke you up this one so you can make amends. I'm feeling real good right now. That's what we love to see. JoyConBoyz, make sure y'all boys are eating healthy and great. Well, I guess this isn't like the most like nutritionally filled, but we gotta cook as well. So I'm gonna try and switch gears because I haven't been most of the time. Wow, okay. Gotcha.
This is where Fortune's Weave falls comfortably back into more Game of Thrones style territory, as I alluded to earlier.
Where the Dothraki? Look at bro.
Stop!
We mobbing D. It's like whoa. We got drugs.
Leaders and Dietrich stories to intersect and interlock neatly. You can switch between these 4 parallel stories in between big events.
Nigga, stop! Yo, stop lying. I thought it was like okay, you pick like let's say Kai because he's on the screen for example. You fix again. Not trying to. You know what? Fuck it. This is like 8 minutes, bro. I did not know that they were going to be running a conjunction you can hop over. That is going to be everything, bro. That is going to be everything. The fact that we can actually get enthralled with so many different characters, like intrinsically nuanced backgrounds. Where like Shorty Lena, she had a whole another fatherless child on some Blueface shit. Her father got, you know, presumably. So we had to go from like an orphan trying to make her way in the world and some Alexander Hamilton shit. Then we got Kai in the ranks. I don't even know. He looked like a young nigga, bro. I can't really tell. I hope they get into just for the context. Actually, I really hope they disclose the age for how niggas be talking on Twitter, bro. Anyway, it's not funny. I'm laughing like it's funny. It's not fucking funny. I guess, you know, diffusing true aspects through humor, but like, still that shit wild, bro. That whole Grok dressed down, crazy. Anyway, lastly, and that's just the 2 that I'm really fixated on, because again, you know, gotta real recognize real. Shit, but dude, that again, you niggas are gonna maybe see me hop out the house for some basic necessities. I might need to make like a kitchen can. Like I'm dead ass, bro. We are running this shit until it's done. I guess I have classes and shit too, so I'm gonna have to figure that shit out. Maybe we'll figure it out, bro. We'll figure it out. 90% of healthy. Yeah, it's the whole health. Like look, nigga, yo, he lost half of. Yo, what happened? He's on some Mike Jack shit. Where did your melt? Like, respectfully, of course, bro. Vertigo, I know Michael, that affected Michael heavy. I don't mean to make light of it, but like, dead ass gang. He looks like he needs sunscreen. Am I tripping? Is it my monitor? Do my eyes deceive me, bro? Like, I can't tell. Look, Ellie, but like 50 scientific mathematical ingredients in the backlog. Can you have been that Yeah, bro. It's like they try to do, you know, throw this eye candy around you and then actually still fuck you up. More life, healthy living to the fullest. That's true facts. Respect for that.
Absolutely.
I love how tapped in you in, man.
So far proving very engaging and is the one being best suited to help brand new players looking for a foothold in
so
this
Kai's the
world
way
where
we
you're
go.
quickly thrown into
Okay.
time travel, mythical mounts, and the need
You
to
riding dick?
meticulously
You riding a
manage
cock?
your
What's going
days in
on?
the lead up to each main event at the Heroic Games. Speaking of
Oh my
which,
god.
Fortune's
Yo, and they
Weave
keep
is
throwing it
no
in and keeping it pushing.
the
Oh, hold
ways
on.
you're able to fill those
Hold
days
on.
between completing
Okay.
side tasks for humble villagers in return for kindness, giving gifts to the traveling warriors who populate Dagerson's
Jordan,
Midtown
gosh.
area in the hopes of recruiting them to your team, and undergoing clash battles in the dungeon areas populating the map. Finding new avenues in which to grow your team and make each member stronger is rarely a struggle. A
We
lot of
are
these
in
ideas,
Westeros.
intelligent systems spent a great deal perfecting
Oh
in
my
20
God.
King's 3 houses, and smartly, quite a lot of them return here. For players who
Okay.
just want to jump into the awesome turn-based tactics of old, I do fear that Fortune's Weave's wider story is determined to get in your way. That said, there are plenty of ways to speed you through its narrative for the more...
No, we don't want that. We don't want that. I think especially being so physically, like from a physical intimacy standpoint, so deprived, bro. One thing that has always been able to bring me metaphysical comfort, juxtaposed with that desolate ideal, has been a good fucking story. Simple. And I feel like there's so few and far between, especially endings, when endings get thrown in the mix. just because of prioritization of monetary profits, it's place set,
Fire
bro.
Emblem engage preferring
They make
players,
Theodora
such as
play
having
pale
dungeon
shit.
battles
He's
play out for
saturated
you
with
in
facts.
auto mode, the
Sometimes
ability
censoring
to
myself
skip
because other
those
people aren't about this
cutscenes
movement.
and
Glad
such.
you're
You'd be
here.
missing out
I'm
on
really
what's so
realizing,
far
I
shaping
guess we'll go on the
up to
rant
be
later,
one
but
of the most
facts.
ambitious
Doesn't get mad when you
stories
speak the
in all
truth,
of
guy. I've
Fire
learned over
Emblem,
the years.
one that literally spans across time, but
It's
it's
like-
nice to see these sliders and options included
This is
for
going
those
to
who intend
be...
to
Damn,
fire
bro. Is
up
Lord
Fortune's
Colison in the mix? I really like the
for the
Valerians.
tactical spectacle.
Not really wrong color scheme and all that, but
Another
that was the last
slight
army that,
grievance I'm already
you know,
finding with Fortune's
reticle...
Weave is in the
whatever shit
repetition
called.
of some of the dungeons,
Repetition
particularly
dungeons?
those that take place in caves outside of the city.
Oh,
Exploring
I'm
them
blocked.
using your team is always made worthwhile thanks to the fruits they offer.
Are we doing home invasions too?
Weapons or resources, but to look at, a lot of those I've run into so far.
What is the
appear to
most
be a
popular
little
video on this
bland.
channel,
The
lol?
same
What you-
can be said about the
what
areas
you
where
mean?
relationship bond formations take place. You see, after
Did
two
your
team
friends
members
see
have
my
worked together
Tetris
enough
PB?
in
Nah,
battle, you can
we actually
strengthen
haven't
the
talked in months about. Like, I saw the last text I hit, or he hit me with. I was like, damn, dude, that was a while ago. I meant to get back to it. And he stays busy. He stays busy. He's in college as well. But I did send it. I'll let you know as soon as possible when I actually get a response. And definitely show
between them
DMs. I got you.
What follows is usually
know what video I'm
important
talking about, dog. I saw
conversation
that smiles. No, I just.
relationship, but these
Oh my
talking head
god,
sections
bro.
aren't the most engaging to look at.
Well,
None of
engaging
this
to look
takes
at. I
away from
mean,
how ambitious Fortune's Weave will likely end up being elsewhere, of course, but
Hmm.
it's clear that there are a couple of corners that have been cut to focus on other areas.
okay.
Right now, with where I'm at in Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, I simultaneously feel like I've played so much and yet so little. Taking me right up to the tail end of Kai's story at the start of Chapter 5, I remain curious about how the future set storyline will impact what goes on in the present
This
and whether
game-
all these threads will be merged together neatly and satisfying.
Look, and he's dark again, bro. Come on, now.
Does end up feeling clumsy though. The truth is that so far, Fortune's Weave feels like Fire Emblem showing off by not balancing 1 or even 3 stories,
Oh, yeah.
but no less than 5. Complete
Oh, yeah.
with a few new appreciated tweaks to the tactical turn-based battles, and this feels about as grand a
Yo, he
debut
really
for
trying to kill
Fire
that
Emblem
nigga.
on Nintendo Switch
Yo,
2 as both new
It-
and veteran.
hold on, if you oh my god, if you ever in a fight you see a nigga hit a vertical and that's a touch of death combo, just putting y'all in game, don't let that shit. You gotta like counter, do some the tournament moment with the Street Fighter. Now I'm sounding playset. I forgot what it's called, bro. I usually was able to reference it so flawlessly. Now I don't know. But that whole look how big. Yo, hold on, bro. Hold on. Look how big this nigga is, like quads and just bite. And yo, Cav, this lunge is killing you. And we're not even talking about the upper body shot. Yeah, gang, you dying, bro. I'm surprised that isn't a touch of
This
death.
feels about as grand a debut for
That was
Fire Emblem
13
on the
damage.
Nintendo
Stop
Switch
lying.
2 as both new and veteran
Brooklyn,
fans
hey,
could
let him
possibly
know.
hope for.
Shout out. I definitely need to pay Brooklyn some more visits this time around. Not the places that have been actually, like, you know, gentrified, bro. It feels like
So there
Calamity
you have it, guys,
Ganon
in
runs through that
terms of my
bitch.
early preview thoughts on Fire
Unfortunately.
Emblem Fortune's Weave.
Attica, I think
Are
you
you
targeted
excited about this
or
one
no?
launching in September? Be sure to let me know in the comment section.
Absolutely,
below. Then,
absolutely.
When you've done that, why not leave this video a like? if
Yeah,
you
bro.
enjoyed it?
Again, I don't mean to
Consider
cannibalize other
subscribing to the
people's-
All Out Gaming YouTube channel
Okay.
to stay up to date with even more videos like this.
Respect,
Until next
respect. Now, GameSpot made one. Okay, maybe this will be the last one. Now, I'm not sure
Fire
how.
Emblem has always been known
Oh.
for its mechanical density and complexity.
Okay, so we're gonna take these 2 reviews. I guess this is on to the next one. Some side chicks. That's a horrible. Oh, now I'm really sounding like a city boy, bro. I didn't need to. Yo, all right. You know what? Preconceived notion doing the work anyway, because I'm, I guess, I'm a lustful, fucking intellectually inferior being, right? Western America, fuck it, nigga. I'm gonna just let that shit speak for itself. But I do take, actual care into my relationships, especially interpersonal. But guess you never know that. Anyway, I don't know whose eyes I just peered into. I hope I made a nigga scared. Yo, okay, there's an initial response from some people, like, on contact, and it's, again, I am sensitive because I've grown up like this, but it's like one of those things you can tell, and you pick up on certain, like, really minuscule, like, signifiers. But dude, I made eye contact with, like, this one nigga. I think he's like midway up the corporate ladder, and he saw me. He did a full, like, oh my, do I have my phone? Do I have my valuables? Because the actual fucking, like, the connection's like, oh, when I see this, I gotta be careful. I gotta make sure my shit is, like, actually good. I might get stolen from. And his whole fucking scooter fell over, nigga. I couldn't help but hide my laughter again. I mean, I had to. It was just like, at first it was, like, kind of hard. But, you know what? I see karma working in its ways, bro. And speaking of which, Actually, I can't even really segue that with speaking of which. But yo, let's get back into this. And again, not to cannibalize content, but let's juxtapose the two of these reviews, and then maybe even get to the lore. I low-key would rather kind of hop into House of the Dragon, so we get that up out the way, and then we still have daylight left, so we can play Splatoon Raiders and shit like that. So I guess let's keep it pushing. So, when are we getting more melanin in Mario? Like,
with an array of 4 differentiated but
yo, this is Anatolia. I need her on my team, bro. Oh my god. And she known.
Having played the
I need her to purify some shit within me, and that's it.
Each
that's
had
damn
its
sure.
own wrinkles and elements that could have supported their own standalone campaigns, all composing a sprawling narrative that appears to reward exploring it in full to see every scene and interaction.
Oh, I'm gonna explore to see every scene and interaction.
Looks to be a conscious effort to restore some of the magic of 3 houses, following the more divisive Fire Emblem Engage. That means a tale that is more grand and sweeping across multiple factions, including a time jump element that Nintendo revealed during its direct presentation. At its core, though, this is a story that focuses on 4 main protagonists, the so-called Flame Lords, with the neat hook that they can be explored in any order.
That's
and you
crazy.
Can jump between them with most.
Yo, we on some Bluebird Naruto shit?
For the purposes of this preview, I started with just 2 of the 4 main characters, the dancer Lita and the Queen Theodora.
No, Lita Queen 2 stop. Oh my. Nigga, yo, the Switch is gonna blow up. There's too many bad bitches in we've reached capacity. This is like, okay, I think, honestly, I've seen enough. I'm gonna let this shit rock. But if you're looking for like a game on the Switch, like the Switch in general, because I've been low-key getting back, especially juxtaposed with, I think physical media matters. And I wanted to reinforce that by buying like Splatoon Raiders physically and actually, paying more attention, getting more games in general. This game, bro, and this is coming from a nigga who hasn't even touched it yet, but, avid fan of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. And all those, like, I actually don't like Lord of the Rings like that. We must stay focused. Dr. Umar, I mean, this is right up your alley, Dr. Umar. We locked in. But I think this is going to be an essential. Not only is it going to be one of those games where escapism, has this double-edged sword, but just being able to delve into an actual holistic narrative with characters from all walks of life accumulated into one ever interweaved narrative that just keeps it pushing. This is like within The Walking Dead. Stop trying to have like an episode quota to like make up for the deficits, and I could get into that for a minute. Dude, this is one of the ones you're going to need on your Switch too. Again, I don't know how they're going to make this shit run. We're at bad bitch capacity, gang. And I guess this might actually be why we have 6% of estrogen. Again, I still can't tell. But dude, I am so happy to actually utilize my Switch 2 to get involved in a further narrative that just reinforces my mental health, gets me away from this late stage capitalism and parasitic relationship we have with, I can't really... You know what? I can't, but what's the joke I can make to, I guess, moment has passed, but this is definitely one of them ones, bro. And I guess hopefully that attempts to even briefly touch the surface of how enthralled I am within this title, bro. And I've never played Fire Emblem, but
for storytelling with just a few potential pitfalls.
I don't see the pitfalls, gang. Well, I see a pit I'm willing to fall into, but pitfalls, from narrative point of view, I don't see it. That's enough. It's crazy.
My first choice, Lita begins by witnessing her father's cold-blooded execution in the street, thus beginning a revenge quest that completely consumes her.
Oh my lord.
She is obsessed to a fault and often seems to have trouble even relating to people who aren't similarly single-minded and driven. That creates an interpersonal dynamic with her attendants and friends who understand that this obsession isn't healthy for her, but that on some level she needs to see it through
to keep her alive. Yo, this narrative about to be, oh my god, bro.
Likewise has a tragic past involving the death of her father, but the conditions and her reaction to it are radically different.
Wow,
as
for
the heir
real.
to the throne, she is ambushed by her wicked brother, and his loyalists cut off her dominant arm in the process.
Oh my god, this is crazy. Yo, what the fuck? What the fuck? My ears, my bad. Let me turn my shit down. Oh, I'm peeking. My bad. I'm peeking. This is touching. Yo. I'm actually about to bug out. Shorty, I'm not on the masochistic shit. It sucks that she got honed to this extent. I've been betrayed too. Again, the scars from the backsides, they still there, bro. They still there. It makes it hard to sleep at night. But you know what, bro?
Only later, after finding a magical prosthesis, more on that in a bit,
she
learns her brother's betrayal, including killing her father as well. But it's off-screen and treated as part of his larger regicide plot. She isn't obsessed with vengeance at all. Instead, her story dispatches the wayward brother quickly and then transitions into her goal of proving herself worthy to the crown.
Respect.
Both of them, and ultimately all 4 of the main protagonists, are drawn toward the heroic aims. And that's where you start to see the factionalism from clashing interests start to arise. They all have their own reasons to be here. Lita gets the lead that her father's killer is competing in the games and sees an opportunity, while Theodora wishes to prove herself against a possible succession battle. Each team competing in the heroic games has its own little cadre of warriors with their own relationship to each other. You can even see the other protagonists and their own bands of warriors milling around the grounds as you explore the capital city.
And this is where the political element comes in, y'all. Because now we have to be like, okay, who doesn't fuck with who and for what reason? Let's start trickling down to, like, you know, the extrinsic factors. Unfortunately, we have to do this because, you know, stupid shit, but like race, and then let's delve it. Well, I don't know how heavily they're gonna get into race, which I hope they do. Some Nintendo game has to encapsulate the black experience, bro. I'm tired of searching. I haven't seen one yet, but let me know if I'm tripping. But then we have the factions, bro. What would you actually serve to gain by allying with another faction? Because they're all gonna be introduced and starting to fade on sight. So I wonder how that translates into actually.
I was able to give gifts to start winning over recruits, which act as small contained pools of characters to befriend and add to your growing forces. I didn't get far enough to try poaching warriors from other Flame Lords, so I don't know if that would work or how it would impact their own paths. But the recruitment system looks flexible enough that it could support such a thing. As you expect, Lita and Theodora play very different roles in combat as well. Theodora is a fierce queen who uses a spear. In fact, her missing arm was a major issue for using her weapon of choice before she received her magical substitute. Lita is more of a backline combatant, most proficient in both. They were both rounded out by a supporting cast to make up for their weaknesses, like Lita's loyal attendant, Bukar, the flirtatious Sirocco, or Theodora's stalwart quartermaster, Bonaventure. The cast is very likable from the start. They also have their own unique abilities not shared by any other regular characters, and this is where Fortune's Weave starts to show the real depths of its complexity. Lita is a dancer while Theodora is a warrior queen, so there's a real contrast between their abilities, both on and off the battlefield.
Don't worry, bro.
First
Even
are
if you
their
have to live
unique
vicariously.
blaze arts. As a dancer, Lita can cast spell songs providing buffs to her allies in combat, while Theodora has an earthen throw attack that can reach across the battlefield in a straight line. Both have powerful effects at the expense of some life. Theodora can also assign battalions to strengthen her units. Outside of combat, Lita can learn new blaze arts by accepting performance requests.
Hold on. Do they maintain the level of if you die, you dead? For the main characters, because that would be so crazy. That would be so crazy.
Sometimes giving a performance will prompt a barfly to give her a tip about a secret spot nearby where she can acquire special materials. Theodora's abilities, meanwhile, focus on her role as a leader of her people, letting her deploy battalions to search for supplies and send supplies back home to help her people. The two are also linked indirectly by the presence of cursed objects. Lita has an instrument that is said to be teeming with dark energy, while Theodora's arm itself, taken from the resting place of a legendary hero of her people, is said to be cursed. In both cases, these work thematically to emphasize their stories, symbolizing Lita's willingness to use any dangerous tool at her disposal to enact her vengeance, and showing Theodora's need to prove herself through physical strength. But as early as I am, I suspect there will be more of both of these and other similar cursed objects across the other two protagonist stories. Once you reach Daxian and begin the heroic games, the structure of the game reveals itself. You're scheduled to take part in qualifier rounds on particular days, which gives you a certain amount of time to explore the town and surrounding cities, taking part in side quests, skirmishes, and to give gifts to potential recruits between major story events. In the thick of combat, this is through and through recognizable as a Fire Emblem game, with all the density of gameplay the strategy RPG series name has come to suggest. You'll be carefully positioning units, drawing enemies in to be flanked, and experimenting with different combinations of job classes as you buy licenses to unlock more advanced units. The unique powers of each protagonist gives them their own sense of combat identity and makes them feel special. Aside from the traditional strategy battles, there are sporadic dungeon crawling segments with more traditional RPG combat, which appear randomly as you explore the map and as occasional story events.
Bro.
I found these to be fairly simplistic for now, but they were an okay diversion and another way to gather resources aside from simply using the search function while exploring the map. and as the game continues, those may blossom into more engaging diversions, though if they remain too simple, I could foresee them becoming an annoyance or just skipping them altogether. Taken all together, it feels a little overwhelming, but that feeling actually worked to soften one of the rougher edges of this game's structure for me. Since you have a choice of 4 stories that all run parallel and you can hop between them freely, you're essentially doing multiple different versions of early game missions. That could risk making the game feel fairly flat at the beginning when the challenge level is still at its most gentle. I haven't done this, but in theory you could play Lita's path to completion and then start all over with Theodora's, which would probably feel like a hard reset. But instead, I played the first few chapters of each back-to-back, and I plan to keep swapping between them.
I like that idea.
That means that at first, I was staying at a steady, very easy challenge. It also had the odd side effect of repeating a handful of optional introductory quests from the quest board, like finding the item and weapon shop vendors in town. But that gentle introduction with some elements repeated actually worked in favor of Fortune's Weave in an unexpected way. Since the world is so dense and complex with so much to do and so many factions with their own agenda, the presence of some repetition helped reinforce the aspects that are the same between the campaigns and gave me a better sense of what was different between them as well. I'll have to see how my patience holds out for doing it twice more if I choose to play all 4 at all, but at least at first, this was a welcome way to learn the ropes. Another way that Fortune's Weave seems likely to soften the edges of its multiple campaigns is through the use of boons of salvation. By completing milestones, you unlock karma shards that can be spent on boons that apply universally across all 4 paths. These include things like XP boosts, increased damage output with particular weapon types, or discounted items.
So that's what we need to rock with.
So in theory, you could use your progress in some chapters to create a glide path for the next one. That wouldn't skip over the more simplistic early game elements, but it would likely make them quicker to breeze through and get to more substantial tactical combat. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave feels absolutely massive. It's dense in a way that few other RPGs are, and the story being structured around 4 separate heroes with their own stories and ability sets makes it even more complex still. The 4 parallel stories also feel reminiscent of the various schools and 3 houses. That game is widely seen as the recent high watermark of the series, and while Fortune's Weave doesn't seem to have quite the same Persona-like social hooks, the array of specialized abilities make the 4 main characters feel distinct, both in and out of combat. It's so vast and sprawling that it will take many more hours to reach a final evaluation. But what I've played so far is a very promising start that could put it among the best the series has to offer.
And that is all I need to hear. That is all I need to hear. I cannot wait again, especially since it seems like 3 Houses, despite its flaws, is like the magnum opus up until this point for Fire Emblem as a franchise game. This gonna go stupid. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. With that being said, we could, technically, I really do want to get a better sense of how this Fire Emblem timeline is. 30 minutes, that is a big chunk. But I've heard that the Fire Emblem story is so dark, bro. And I was just like, damn, dude, it's as dark as like the night sky, man. As dark as that. Actually, no, that Tesla model isn't that dark, bro. But I'm with the shit, man. I don't really think that. Hold on, the shockingly dark and disturbing moments in Fire. Oh shit. I guess we can go with this one, maybe? Because I didn't know, okay, it's either we get 15 hours. How do you have... Dude, I mean, respect to the hustle, but 15 hours and even a 15-hour retrospective, I'm assuming there's probably still some things that weren't adequately covered. Dude. All right, 30 minutes pales in comparison. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so this is a Fire Emblem timeline, all 17 games. And wait. Is this just a brief... Hold on. Is this just a brief timeline 2.0?
Who was the best of their species? And to combat this, Ashanira made them more diverse so that no one could claim to be better than the other.
DEI! Ah! Stop. Yo, and it's so funny, bro, because that's not even what DEI do, to be honest with you. All right, the Fire Emblem, no, the dark real history behind whoa. This is what I'm saying, bro. There's a critique. Okay. Let me lock in. Let me lock on a specific 3 Houses will explain in 6 minutes. Nah, let's just go. Okay, let's just go with the most recent one because that's the one that actually follows in tandem, bro. The shockingly dark and disturbing moments in Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and stay on top of whether they say there's a spoiler involved or not. But dude, this is actually looking something I had on my mind since the direct, because I'm like, dude, I saw like a recommended. I'm like, Fire Emblem, dark lore, bro. Wondering if it's as dark as fucking. Honestly, I feel like The Boys season 4 color grading was horrible. Is it as dark as, I guess, the recesses of Trump's mind? Is it as dark as me, my nigga? Let's get the answers to our questions. And that being said, I'm gonna have y'all get indoctrinated with the first minute. I'm gonna go put my pizza up in the fridge, or at least preheat the oven. I'll be right back. Let me know if I miss anything, y'all. I'll be right back.
Many things to many people, and in this video, Three Houses is dark, creepy, and disturbing. Despite it being October and the month of Halloween, I actually didn't intend for this video to fall into this time frame, as my video schedule got delayed due to Fire Emblem Engage news and Hurricane Fiona setting me back a few days. And now trying to find a place to rent in the city. This was supposed to be out in September, but alas, here we are. This video is all about this game's darker aspects, of which there are a handful. Just like my Sacred Stones video on its darkest and most messed up moments, this is a content warning. This video does go over topics and themes that can be disturbing to some, so viewer discretion is advised. Things like crest experimentation and the tragedy of Dusker would fit into this video, but I've covered both of those topics several times throughout my channel, like in my videos on Edelgard and the video on the tragedy of Dusker itself. So for this video in particular, I want to focus on lesser known moments that may have fallen through the cracks to some people. From the mysterious deaths of royalty to attempts at reanimation to those who wish to exploit the crest system. Without further delay, let us begin. Raphael's parents' true fate. Officially, as far as Raphael himself cares, his parents died in an accident with monsters while they were working as merchants. Anyone who has seen his paralogue with Ignatz in Three Houses, however, knows the truth is far more complicated.
We traveled around the island selling strong ass shit. I heard this route was dangerous, but...
Dangerous, you say? Are you referring to the recent cases of merchants being attacked on that route?
That's right. We can't turn
That's a
without going to Deirdre.
Swap,
I don't know what Count Gloucester's thinking.
I had a feeling it might be. You're certain?
Looks that way. I think he's unhappy with merchants contributing to House Regan's wealth. It seems like he's been at odds with them forever. They say even the previous Duke Regan's death...
Was that the Count's fault too?
It's only a rumor, but it was Count Gloucester himself who lured the late Duke Regan out.
The side mission and its aftermath reveal the accident was in no way an unfortunate coincidence, but rather an orchestrated attack believed by many to have been ordered by Count Irvin Gloucester, head of House Gloucester, for the sake of getting rid of Duke Godfrey, House Regan's next heir, and to become the most influential house in the Leicester Alliance.
Game of Thrones. Alright, locking. This is going to set the tone for the level of narrative depth. Well, not necessarily, because the other social aspects seem pretty solid in and of itself. I think covering the proclivity, especially in a tasteful way that ideally is meant to be a constructive criticism, is valuable when done right and executed to a T. I hope that this isn't the reason or one of the pitfalls for Fire Emblem Three Houses not being, there's some nuance in the reviews. But if this is going to be an adequate precursor for like actually getting a view or looking through a lens of what we could be seeing from terms of like the edgy and dark shit to keep us at the edge of our seats in Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, bro. Political assassinations.
Only the truth of this accident is in reality far more complicated. Three Houses' paralogue for Ignatz, Raphael, and Lorenz serve as a follow-up to the one in Three Houses. In the paralogue, the three work together to take down mercenaries turned thieves, who at one point used to work for Count Gloucester himself. They discover that this group was responsible for killing Godfrey and Raphael's parents, but they never intended to kill them. Instead, they had only planned to drive them away through use of monsters. With regard to Count Gloucester's involvement, though, the orders came from someone else in the house who claimed to be him. The mercenaries lost control of the monsters, and Godfrey was killed trying to fend them off. Once Count Gloucester discovered how this happened, he could not find his imposter. Instead, he punished the mercenary group, ruining their reputation and pushing them into banditry.
So he gave them niggas a Wall Street Journal.
Your father was always protective of the nobility's reputation, and it seems strange he would do something so sneaky. And so anti-merchant besides.
This is going to be a little bit drawn to me because I don't
know. Someone from our house acting alone. By the time my father realized what was happening, the culprit had vanished, along with any hope of ever sussing out their true motives.
Got a little flamboyance to him.
Only the mercenaries remained, and my father
cool.
had no choice but to punish them.
Damn.
Without the context of Three Hopes' follow-up in this paralogue, it was assumed by many that Count Gloucester was a villain in this plot, when it turns out it was somebody else. Cyril, the House Goneril servant. Per Cyril's backstory, at age 12, he was captured by House Goneril during an Elvira raid.
You know what? I think this might be a better approach. I think that this approach is great. Maybe it's my time. Maybe it's my actual attention span. But I'm low-key considering it might be worth it or better to find either a video that does the complete like moral depravity of the entire Fire Emblem. I mean, we can do it right now. I think that might be a better use of time because, again, not to be... Well, I'm not sure if y'all are really that at the edge of your seat for this, but I do really want to get this House of the Dragon, bro. I'm hearing that there's so many scenes, and I'm tired of scrolling Twitter and like, oh, shit, gotta get a Buffy, because not even just screen time, which I don't really do that often, but like, I'll be seeing spoiler shit, okay? All right, cool. Hopefully this isn't too jarring. I mean, y'all probably used to this by now, but... making sure like y'all aren't too like whiplashed as well, because I know I can do like really crazy sporadic whiplashed, segment changes, and I just want to make sure that we good. So let's look at the library we got, bro. Like we found in like a video essay before we can eat our food. What is the darkest moment in every Fire Emblem game? A complete history of dark magic. I don't know if that's it or not. Who wants Claude dead? All right, let me see. Who is the Slither? I don't even know who that is, bro. Dimitri. So there's the real dark history behind Dietrich. Okay, I think that sounds like it's right. Okay, so maybe we can watch this one for the kicks, and then I'll probably pick up another one and just have it be like, okay, we're watching this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Megan.
Okay, all right, hold on, whoa. Female perspective, let's go. Female perspective, let's get it.
Audio podcast where we celebrate the hidden history found in our favorite video games.
Is that Lord of the Rings, bro?
Today we're continuing my series on Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave.
This is a series.
And this time, we'll be taking a closer look at Diedrich, the dark...
Hold on, I don't... Whoa! Yo! Alright, actual lore! Alright, hold on. Let me actually... Okay. Dietrich. Thank you, Dietrich. He might be a trick, bro. From what, again, he has that Sephiroth archetype that's brooding and mysterious, and not to enslave the preconceived notion of Sun Third, but that shit be throwing me off, bro. So, let's just do this, because it's 20 minutes shorter. I'm actually going to, train my attention span. Cool, just relax for a second and actually get enthralled with one of the narratives that are so integral to the future release of Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. And maybe later down the week I can be like, okay, maybe I found another one that actually highlights what I said prior that I'm looking for, and then we can watch that. But consuming Three Houses lore before Fortune's Weave. Now we on some Fortune's Weave shit, because again, I don't know if this is gonna be if this is spoiler territory, we out. But I don't think this is some GOT shit where they actually have lore from a book to mess up, unless I'm wrong.
We'll be taking a closer look.
And again, not to cannibalize content. Who are we? I guess forming a parasitic relationship. Sorry, I'm Meg Sullivan. Okay, Meg. Love, I promise. Watching this, I'm not gonna just cleave all the nutritional value, leave nothing left, just for the sake of watch. That's not okay. I'm fucking with you, but I promise this is gonna be a tasteful critique, and I just want to just sample the local cuisine, and this video seems chock full of nutrients. Let's get into it. These include watch bet.
The dark and brooding swordsman, who is one of 4 main characters participating in the heroic games of Daxian, or Dagda. In this episode, we'll first look at Diedrich, the Fire Emblem character, and go over some exciting details that fans have noticed about him from the reveal trailer.
I see. So this is the shit on the low that you should know. Whoa.
And we'll discuss how Diedrich is tied to Diedrich von Bern, a legendary hero famous for slaying giants, dragons, and Roman rulers. And finally, saving the best for last, we'll be looking at the real historical figure.
Oh my god, wait, is that the Fire Emblem overarching map based on Three Houses? Because that shit was massive.
And finally,
that shit was massive.
For last, we'll be looking at the real historical figure behind Diedrich von Bern, Theodoric the Great. And his
what's going on?
Story is all kinds of bonkers. I can't wait for you to hear it.
I guess it is the HD.
And if you like what you hear, let me know in the comments below, or reach out to me at Megan History, MEGNHISTORY@gmail.com. I would appreciate the feedback.
Okay,
before I get started, though, just a quick warning to Fire Emblem fans that there are spoilers for Three Houses.
Fuck!
Dead Ahead.
All right, we cool.
Okay,
we cool. Everybody consent? I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm cool with that.
What we know about Diedrich. If you look at the footage for the reveal trailer of Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, you immediately notice that Diedrich is pale-skinned, pale-haired, pale-eyed, wears jet black armor, and wields a deadly sword called the Answer.
Oh my god. Yo, this nigga sound like it sound like him navigating like an edgy manifesto with the D. Okay, so I pull. Well, actually, no, because a lot of manifestos are just fucking precursors for gun violence. I'm not do that. That shit fucked up. But bro, having dark all foot like fitted out in opium, Targaryen type hair. I guess everything besides like the eyes, of course. And then having a sword called the Answer, bro. Yo, I want to play 3 houses. Okay, Kizo, clear it, bro. I again always value your company, bro, but don't sell your ears if you want to play 3 houses.
Has a brooding
that goes for anybody
aura
else.
About him. And many Fire Emblem fans
I don't know
have
how
theorized
crazy of a
that he
spoiler
might actually be related to the Death Knight in Fire Emblem 3 Houses. After all, spoiler alert, he looks an awful lot like Yuritsa. And not only that, Diedrich, like Yuritsa, is associated with the crest of Lamine, can wield the combat skill Murderous Intent, has black armor with shoulder spikes, and although Diedrich uses a sword in battle as opposed to a scythe, like
we finna, you see how Anatolia, how you fight? This is gonna be so jarring. How she get so close to the nigga in the first place? Why don't you just shoot from a like? I mean, I would rather fade a nigga with my physical prowess than bring a gun into the picture, because at least somebody has a chance of making it out alive. Probably me, but that's how I get to skull. I'm kidding. Actually,
the Death Knight. That sword has scythe-like claws.
Wow.
Now this may be an indication that Diedrich is wielding not just a sword, but a hero's relic, a powerful weapon fashioned from the blood and bones of the Nabateans.
What is the Nabatean?
AKA dragons. And
Ducatis! Yo, I cannot.
Is where fiction meets fable.
God.
Because
oh my
many
God.
of the hero relics in Fire Emblem are named after real-life legendary weapons.
Okay.
And Diedrich's sword, the Answer, is no exception.
Okay.
The Answer is a legendary sword out of Irish mythology.
Shout out Irish. I did not know that the Irish, so much of their culture and their dialect has been annihilated. I gotta get the actual historical context, but it's like I talking to this Irish girl at the register. I'm like, yo, you Irish? Where you from? I'm trying to get, because I just had a conversation about it. And she was like, oh, I'm from this, that, and the third. I'm like, dude, how is the language there? Because I heard that shit got Thanos. And she was like, yeah, there's some little hot spots, some niches, some cult classic shit. But outside of certain little like towns and shit, it's gone. That is so sad.
Ragnarok. This
I want to play
god-forged
through. Okay,
sword
I'm
could
sorry.
cut through
I thought a sword
any
had gunfire.
armor
That's crazy.
and always dealt a
That is
fatal
crazy.
blow. The most interesting thing about the sword is that when held against someone's throat, it would force that person to tell the truth.
Oh, shit.
And we actually see Diedrich holding
Whoa,
his sword against
all right.
a bandit's throat in the trailer, suggesting he wants answers. Now, it's not surprising to see the Answer appear in Fortune's Weave. After all, the Fire Emblem series always features some type of weapon or armor or place name taken from Celtic tradition. But Diedrich is a German name, not an Irish one. What's going on here?
How much
Well, if we dig a little further into who or what directly inspired Diedrich's character, it's possible that the Answer is actually being superimposed onto another legendary German sword called Ekasux. This sword, along with
historians are so cool, bro. How would you even be able to? I know that. Like, come on, bro. This is so fascinating to me.
To be fortified with dragon's blood, which made
Dragon's
its wielder
blood,
invincible. And that sword fused with dragon's blood was wielded by, wait for it, Diedrich von Bern. So, 2 Diedrichs, one from Fire Emblem and one from Fable, use swords connected to the slaying of dragons.
Okay.
But who is Diedrich von Bern? Diedrich von Bern was a legendary figure in medieval folklore. According to tradition, he was an exiled Italian prince and was known as a slayer of giants, dwarves, and dragons.
Buongiorno.
He often fought with other heroes in order to test their might, and one tradition even states that he could breathe fire. Diedrich had all sorts of adventures, and some of these adventures included real-life historical figures like Attila the Hun, called Etzel in the sagas, and Odoacer, ruler of Italy during the late Roman Empire. But how did Diedrich von Bern become associated with both fantasy characters and real-life figures like Odoacer? Well, this is where Fable meets Federati, because now we can talk about Theodoric the Elon, also known as Theodoric the Great, a real king of Italy from 493 until 525 CE, and his story is wild. There are all kinds of twists and turns, betrayals and backstabbings. I mean, this history doesn't even need a dragon to make it interesting. Although a quick FYI, I came across multiple spellings and pronunciations for some of these names, and honestly, I have no idea which one is the
She didn't start talking about it. I'm actually, what's the word? Yo, guy, we actually talk. She's okay. This is again, bro. Shout out to those who can relate. Some logic shit. I simply, like, my brain isn't wired this way. I guess because, again, my teacher in geography class, that nigga had no conflict resolution skills, yelled because he couldn't get a grasp of how to actually control the room and navigate the different cultures within that bitch. And I don't know, I think I bring that up so often, just like, I'm really low-key mad about it, bro, because the teacher's job is supposed to enchant. If the actual shit isn't interesting, which low-key a lot of it can be if you actually are presenting the interesting, adequate stuff, but it's also, bro, you should be able to enchant and allure those who don't really know, because we're young. We don't know the actual depth of how valuable information is. So it's like, gang, just a gripe of mine, because it's just so cool to me, because I don't have the historical knowledge for a lot of shit, that niggas just see this and like, wait, I know that from somewhere. Let me go to my bookshelf. That's so cool. That's so cool, and then it disconnects with Fire Emblem for some fucking reason.
And hopefully you can understand.
Went from Germany, Italy to
let's talk about the
France, or not France.
That was 5th century Europe.
5th century
Theodoric
Europe.
the Elon, son of Theodemir, was born on the eastern edge of the Roman Empire around 454 CE, and entered the world at a very tumultuous time for Europe. This era is known as the Great Migration Period, or Barbarian Invasion Period, and involved several warlike tribes fanning out across Europe and seizing territory for themselves.
That's crazy.
The most
Real
infamous
classic
group
clans.
was the Huns, led by the notorious Attila the Hun. This group terrorized Europe throughout the 440s, and even after Attila's death in 452, which happened before Theodoric was born, the once mighty Roman Empire would remain unstable for quite some time, due to both internal strife and the power vacuum left by the Huns.
That's... Yo, history, bruh.
This power vacuum would quickly be filled by a variety of Germanic tribes, including the Vandals, the Thracian Goths, the Visigoths, and the Ostrogoths, Theodoric being part of the latter. In fact, Theodoric's uncle, Valamir, was the ruler of the Ostrogoths, and this powerful leader not only managed to throw off the shackles of his former Hun masters, he was able to lead raids along the east coast of the Adriatic Sea. This was technically Roman territory, but nobody in the empire could prevent the Ostrogoths from raiding, pillaging, and settling there because, well, the empire had problems. Since the 4th century, the Roman Empire had been split into 2 distinct courts, one in the east with its capital at Constantinople, and one in the west, first at Rome and then later at Ravenna. When Theodoric was born, both courts were a hot mess. In the west, things were especially messy. When Theodoric was just a toddler, Emperor Valentinian III was murdered by the bodyguard of a general named Aetius.
Run that back. Hold on, run that back. When I was in school, I didn't give a fuck. I just slept because I didn't have the energy, or after eating junk food and playing video games and going. Hey, that on that Faku life, always hitting. We're alive though. We out here living life to the fullest nowadays. That's how we gotta move, man. Now I can't consume shit that won't teach me. Yo, this is a game. This can bridge the. This game finna be crazy, bro. We can bridge that gap from our childhood with this, man. The fact that we're playing a game where it actually benefits us to look into the history that it's actually allegorical or referencing. Yo, I know this might seem like dramatic. I feel like crying up in this bitch. This is beautiful, man. Find me some good fucking food, gang. Stop playing.
When Theodoric was just a toddler, Emperor Valentinian III was murdered by the bodyguard of a general named Aetius. This event caused mass chaos in the west, which Gaiseric, ruler of the nearby Vandal kingdom, took full advantage of. While the Romans were preoccupied with the assassination of an emperor, Gaiseric quickly sailed from his capital at Carthage, which he had snatched from Rome just a decade before, up the Tiber
No, but it's not even. No. But listen. It's not just the. Fuck the anime. Well, not fuck the anime chess. That shit, honestly, like, I can't. I love chess. It's one of my favorite games. I just wish I could play it more, but I don't have anyone to do so with. So I start trauma dumbing. I think that Fire Emblem, like, let's take the strategical element outside of the equation. Let's take the historical aspects and how much it, like, you know, caters to history out of the equation. Even if you're looking from, like, okay, I want to hop on a game and have fun. the turn-based system and then the narrative, like the cutscenes in between, it plays like a movie. So even if the stuff in between isn't palatable, I think even with the provocative code of pink that it has, it can definitely delve into more themes that are like, come on, bro. Got an original Xbox, so I might play Final Fantasy.
Into the Eternal City.
And not Fire Emblem.
Not only did Geyserek sack Rome and gain huge amounts of wealth, he was also able to take the Empress Eudoxia and her 2 daughters hostage, in what was a very impressive and very scary display of power. Meanwhile, in the eastern half of the Roman Empire, the newly crowned Emperor Leo was dealing with his own issues. Not only did he have to beat back a number of quote-unquote barbarian tribes pouring into Roman territory post-Attila the Hun, but he ended up having to deal with an earthquake in Antioch, a fire in Constantinople, and a religious schism within the Eastern Church.
Yo, right in the 7, yo, come on! I wish my history teacher actually put some shit like this in front of me, bro. I would have locked the fucking real quick. Hold on, let me put this pizza up in the oven real quick. 1 second, y'all. I'll be right back. Dude, this video essay, bro. We gotta look at the rest of her shit. We do. Hold on. Okay, yo, let's run it. This, bro, political assassinations. Then we have the geographical aspect of having so much shit happening, like earthquakes and let me not say tsunamis, start gassing, throwing like actual shit out there. But like, bro, this shit chock full.
Go away.
Oh God, I'm not really
in short, his plate was also
like,
pretty full.
So shout out Fire Emblem
raided
for real.
the Eastern territory.
All right. So you gonna have a main That's crazy, bro.
Illyricum.
That's crazy.
Leo decided it was easier to just buy them off rather than fight them. In exchange, however, the Alans, that is, the rulers of the Ostrogoths, had to send a royal hostage to Constantinople. And that hostage ended up being King Valdemir's nephew, Theodoric. And this worked out rather nicely for Theodoric. Not only did he receive an excellent Roman education, but he learned the ins and outs of the Roman people and was able to live peacefully in the eastern capital while his family waged war on various tribes in and around the Ostrogoths' home of Pannonia.
That's wild, bro. You're hyped for dude. I'm literally okay. So here's the game plan, by the way, y'all. What we're gonna do is we're gonna clear this, right? Afterwards, again, House of the Dragon, I'm getting that about the way, and I know a lot of y'all don't rock with that, so I'm gonna try and just hop on it, clear it. Don't be on some I'm Dante shit. I gotta start beating a dead horse. I gotta find a better metaphor. I don't like the abuse of animals. And that sounds like PR training. But then we're gonna hop on Splatoon Raiders or clear these video, whatever y'all feeling at that time. We probably gonna go until like I guess probably like around 9 if we're being honest. So let's
Theodoric being a hostage in Constantinople did not guarantee peace between the Ostrogoths and Rome. The Goths quickly figured out that if they raided and pillaged the empire enough, they could extract concessions from Rome whenever they...
yeah, I gotta watch more than 2 episodes. I just started watching it, but yeah.
If they raided and pillaged the empire enough, they could extract concessions from Rome whenever they wanted. And so that's what they did. And once again, the Empire was kind of powerless to stop them because they were once again dealing with drama. In the west, the Empire just could not get rid of the Vandal king Geyserek, who not only trounced the Emperor Majorian in battle in 461, but also defeated both another emperor, Anthemius, and Leo's brother-in-law, Basiliscus, in a naval battle in 468. These military debacles further weakened the western half of the empire and nearly bankrupted the eastern half of the empire. But things were about to get worse for the entire empire.
It gets worse, yo, this is crazy. It gets real good, bro. Trust me. All right, I'm gonna have to land it here.
Leo had his highly ambitious general Aspar murdered and convinced.
He what? Wait, go back. Hold on. The little
Things
nigga.
were about to get worse for the entire empire. In 471, Leo had his highly ambitious general Aspar murdered, and convinced his co-emperor Anthemius to do the same to his highly ambitious general Ricimer. The outcome was a disaster on both fronts. In 472, Anthemius was captured and executed by Ricimer, although the latter died just 6 weeks later. And in the east, the Thracian Gothic soldiers who served under Aspar were so enraged at the murder of their general that their next leader, Theodoric Strabo, rose up in rebellion, forcing the Eastern Empire to compensate the Goths, even though technically the Romans managed to stamp out the insurrection. It was around this time in the early 470s that Theodoric's father, who had inherited the kingship from Valamir, led a raid into the southern Balkans, forcing Emperor Leo to agree to settle the Ostrogoths in Macedonia. Perhaps as part of that deal, Leo also allowed Theodoric to return to his family, and so a somewhat quasi-peaceful coexistence was established between the Ostrogoths and the Romans.
Yo, what the fuck is going? All right, hold on. Because I gotta actually. I've never really been that good at studying. So, low-key, some of that shit went in my ear, in one ear out the other, in terms of how everything is related. So, okay, the young nigga, right? He became he got like put up on game, and then he was like, let's kill the dude that's running this shit right now, and said that to, I guess, another like peer of his. That, and then they die in succession of, like, their uppers get like killed in succession of one another. Then there's a rebellion just off of that alone, and the only reason they were able to find Kumbaya is because his family was up in the other region, which there's west and east that has been in conversation. Is that Ostrogoth? So Ostrogoth is in this whole okay. So this whole thing is the Roman Empire. The purple is the Roman Empire. Okay, I see. Roman Empire, purple. What is this blue shit right here? Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is it? Who's the blue? Oda, sir? Okay, that's Sicily, Italy. Okay, so I got it. Yo, stop yelling. My fault. Turn me down. I guess, yeah, I am really like. Dude, you can't blame me, though. This is like one of the only times I get to actually express myself. And it's really like, not to say like, oh, I shouldn't express myself more often than not, or just like unconditionally. But dude, it's hard, bro. Especially when you have to code switch. I've already beaten this rant dead, but you know what I'm talking about, bro.
Not for long. Emperor Leo died in 474, and a new emperor would ascend the throne in Constantinople. This emperor was Zeno, and he would prove to be a very canny and very difficult ruler to deal with. To be fair, Zeno had an extremely rocky start to his rule, which may have set the tone for the rest of his royal career. Just a year into being proclaimed emperor, he was faced with a coup led by none other than Basiliscus, Emperor Leo's brother-in-law and the same general who got his butt kicked by the Vandal king Gaiseric back in 468. Despite that humiliating loss, Basiliscus managed to hang on to quite a bit of political power, and in 475 drove Zeno out of Constantinople and had himself proclaimed emperor. But long story short, his reign sucked due to a lot of infighting and incompetence, and in 476 Zeno was back in power. And no sooner was he back in power than he received some shocking news from the west. A powerful barbarian general named Odoacer had just disposed of the young emperor Romulus Augustulus, whose family had in turn kicked the previous emperor Julius Nepos off the throne. I cannot stress to you how messy the western half of the Roman Empire was.
And this shit was just a regular occurrence? Like, that's
at this
insane,
point.
bro.
But rather than proclaim himself emperor, Odoacer proposed that the Roman Empire really only needed one emperor, and that in exchange for letting him rule Italy as a kind of viceroy, Odoacer would recognize Zeno as the one and only emperor of Rome. Having just come back into power, Zeno really wasn't in a position to argue against this, although he did ask Odoacer to at least acknowledge on paper Julius
Yo, we dead as gods and creators, and people be stuck lusting over some females. Well, okay, first of all, I've long learned. Well, actually, I never really referred to women as females in the first place. But I've long learned to not do that shit. What I will say though, yeah, that's shit. Dude, okay, look, wait, hold on. I'm not to derail, bro. I think, I can't be mad at, because I don't think this nigga's actually, you weren't, correct me if I'm wrong, but you weren't hip to the JoyConBoyz prior, right? Like, how Etika ran this shit. Listen, if we take a real quick trip down the memory lane, shout out everybody rocking up in the stream, bro. We actually, this is like a history lesson. This should be on, like, the regular stream. Like, we actually should learn more about the Fire Emblem lore, because by proxy, we had a greater retrospective lens to look at the world through. That's so beautiful, man. But Look, let's go. Okay, I guess let's go to the. Okay, yeah, I guess the Galgun stream is related to the best president. Listen. Can I tell you a secret? I'm not lustful as a man. I mean, not even a secret. I be talking about this shit while the streams be going down. I had some trauma inflicted upon me sexually through corn. I found that shit too young, and I'll probably honestly full transparency go into it just to get off my chest one day. I don't know when that is, but like, I honestly think a lot of this shit is jokes. And a lot of the community was built upon etiquette, fucking around with that shit and having fun. I think parts of it are funny too. Again, the Galgun shit, that was crazy, bro. Crazy, simple. But I don't really be lesson over anime shit. I can't even tell you the last time I jacked off to hentai, even like SR out the way. I cannot tell you. But like, it's one of those things where like I really don't. I want to go on record and say like 97% are jokes. Like 97% of the time.
Was right to the throne. But he might as well saved his breath because, to the surprise of no one, just a few short years later, Nepos was murdered. And this would prove to be the end of the Western Roman Empire.
I'm about to say at that point, bruh, that's like getting attached to a character and like, oh, okay, they die. Like, instantly, you know, I guess the only series really moving like this are Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and apparently Grey's Anatomy for some fucking reason. I heard there's one event where a plane crashes and half the cast dies, which is wild. But all this to say, bro, that's like getting attached to characters. A season later, they're gone. Okay, let's you know, so watching the series, other characters. A season later, character you just got attached to, dust. That's, I guess, at that point, bro, because there's no actual manifest to tangibly reinforce itself because they didn't have the time, the nigga dead. That's a wild scene retention. Yeah.
From then on until the 15th century, Constantinople
we not city boys, man. We not these regular run of the mill. We on some mature shit. We analyze ourselves introspectively and stop putting so much focus on the extrinsic. The extrinsic in this case being our dick. We want to seek more for ourselves and utilize that energy and transmute it into actual power, gang. Not that, you know, I'm fucking with you for that. I was trying to make y'all laugh at the start of that shit. I mean, maybe, I guess, you know, the average man, low-key, technically is doing that.
Would carry on the imperial tradition. At any rate, having just survived a coup, Zeno wasn't able to do much about the fall of Western Rome. But he could still shore up his power in the east. Back before his rule was rudely interrupted, he actually managed to make a permanent peace treaty with the Vandal king Gaiseric, who up until that point was still having a lot of fun, causing trouble in the Mediterranean. The terms of the treaty were that if Gaiseric agreed to stop persecuting Catholics in North Africa and stop playing pirate in the Mediterranean, Zeno would officially recognize all the lands the Vandals claimed as their own, including Carthage, which was a major win for Gaiseric. And yes, it hurt the empire to lose that territory, but it also meant that the emperor had one less thing to worry about.
Look at what they was doing. Oh
and so, with his
bro.
throne and trade routes fully secured, Zeno could now finally turn his attention to the pesky Goths lurking in the background. He decided to go after Theodoric Strabo first, and he had good reason for doing so. When Basiliscus rose up against Zeno in 475, Theodoric Strabo threw his full support behind the usurper, which Zeno duly noted.
Oh,
so once the crisis was over and Zeno was back on the throne...
we still haven't gotten back to Diavich. This, hold on, bro. Petting incest... And this is Fates. That's... Yo, the amount of video essays really be... Some niggas be willing to die about getting their point across, bro. 45... I'm pulling up her channel on my phone so I don't lag my computer a little bit so I can see what other category videos she has within this category.
Immediately set about pitting Theodoric Strabo against Theodoric the Elan, who by then had inherited the title of King of the Ostrogoths from his father. Well, he also kind of earned it through a series of battles, but never mind. Secretly, Zeno hoped that the two Goths would destroy each other without Rome having to lift a finger. And in fact, although he promised the Ostrogoths military reinforcements once they engaged the enemy, no reinforcements ever showed up. That's when Theodoric Strabo figured out what Zeno was up to and convinced the younger Theodoric that instead of fighting each other, they should team up and make joint demands on the emperor, which they did. But Zeno proved to be quite shrewd. First, he tried to get back into the good graces of Theodoric the Amal by offering all kinds of bribes. And when that failed, he managed to coax Strabo back into the Roman fold with a promise of money, military support, and fancy titles. In other words, bribes. Once he had done so, Zeno then ordered his imperial army to chase the younger Theodoric all the way back to the Adriatic coast, well away from the capital of Constantinople.
Hold on. So, okay, they're going up the map. I'm trying to remember from the prior diagram. That area is the area where it was like it was more of a gradient and niggas had to make peace, as opposed to the rest of that area being mainly predominantly under Europe, or not Europe, Roman Empire rule, right? I'm trying to stay on top of everything. So they took that nigga through. Hold on, but how does that even make taken to a melting pot? Why did they do this?
Noble. But Xeno's support of Theodoric Strabo proved to be a major blunder, because when another coup against Zeno broke out in 479, this time led by Marcian, Zeno's own brother-in-law.
Yo, what the fuck? Yo, they kinslaying! What the fuck? How many, bro? This is dead ass. Like, you know, in Breath of the Wild, you cool and enjoying yourself, and then boom, Link, it gets dangerous at night, or whatever the fuck Zelda be saying, and then Calamity, Ganon pop out, all them niggas turn dark and boost it up on some creatine shit. This is like this is like a regular RNG event for Roman Empire, apparently.
So once again was quick to support the usurper. And even when the revolt failed, Strabo would continue to fight Zeno off and on until his death in 481, when the Gothic leader was thrown from a horse and impaled on a spear. But even with the death of Theodoric Strabo, the emperor was unable to rest on his laurels, because in 482, Theodoric the Amal once again burst onto the scene, this time attacking Macedonia and Thessaly. Since Zeno was busy trying to hold things together in Constantinople, he decided to just buy Theodoric off in the hopes that the Ostrogoths would quit causing trouble. He even allowed Theodoric to kill Strabo's eldest son, Rekatak, and unite both Gothic tribes under one banner. But this proved to be yet another huge mistake on Zeno's part, because bribery only encouraged Theodoric, who kept harassing the empire and demanding more concessions. At one point, Theodoric even threatened the walls of Constantinople itself. By then, it was clear that the situation was becoming untenable for the Roman emperor. Luckily, it was at this point that the wily Zeno came up with a daring scheme. You see, by then, Zeno wasn't just fighting with the Goths. He was fighting with his western viceroy Odoacer, and was desperate to get rid of him. And so in the winter of 488, he made Theodoric an offer too good to refuse. If Theodoric, along with his entire Goth army, managed to defeat Odoacer in battle, Zeno would recognize Theodoric as the next imperial viceroy of Italy. The Ostrogoths were happy to accept this offer, and thus began a long campaign against Odoacer. It took 5 years of fighting, but Theodoric finally managed to wear Odoacer down just long enough to get him to agree to a truce. But Theodoric had no intention of honoring this truce. Less than 2 weeks after peace was declared, Theodoric invited Odoacer to a banquet. Then during the meal, he took out his sword and struck Odoacer down at the dinner table. Now, Theodoric's sword may not have been doused in dragon's blood, but it was
keeping your ass, bro. You can't have you getting big. Oh, so thinking about the semen retention in the back of my mind, I'm like, what getting big? What are we talking about? You stretching yourself? No, I was trolling in the Discord. Yo, what you mean by that though? It always seems to end up being about greed and power, That's honestly, bro. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Again, I don't know nothing about no esoteric. There is going to be a real power, not vacuum necessarily, but struggle for it in terms of the monopoly. Let's see me during Fire Emblem. See me if you remember this. I wonder what that nigga was. See me during Fire Emblem.
Lethal blow
for actually, just poking fun at the current contemporary state of the world. Nothing else.
That
I don't think I'm capable of that level of forcing.
Theodoric then ordered his men to hunt down and kill the king's most loyal retainers, ensuring that nobody was left to contest Theodoric for the position of imperial viceroy. It was ruthless and underhanded. But even still, Zeno kept his promise to recognize Theodoric as ruler of Italy. And although Theodoric wore the imperial purple, minted coins in his own image, and made sure everyone knew he was in charge, Theodoric was careful not to call himself emperor. Instead, he simply named himself Rex, the Latin word for king. And this king wasted no time expanding his territory to include places like Pannonia in the east, his former homeland, and the nearby Visigoth kingdom, where some of his relatives had ended.
Oh shit! No, where were we? Hold on, go back. No. We were like right here, right? Cool.
In 482, so in the winter of
okay, there we go. And after the gold, okay.
In the east, his former homeland, and the nearby Visigoth kingdom, where some of his relatives had ended up a few years before. He even arranged all sorts of advantageous marriage alliances for his family, although a lot of these didn't pan out so well. In fact, he spent his final years fighting for or against his own family. Meanwhile, back at home, Theodoric ended up being an extremely competent administrator. Or at least it seems that way according to contemporary sources, including Cassiodorus, who wrote 46 letters in the name of Theodoric.
Damn, that nigga was on
According
dick.
to historians, the viceroy allowed the Romans to continue following well-established Roman laws, while allowing the Ostrogoths to continue following their own set of laws. In other words, Theodoric was careful not to disrupt people's day-to-day lives too much. And according to the letters of Cassiodorus, Theodoric tried his best to maintain a just balance between the people and the powerful. But he became most famous for his ambitious building program. He promoted the rebuilding of Roman cities, the preservation of ancient monuments, and even built new walls, aqueducts, churches, and bathhouses for the populace to use.
That's hard.
This new building program gave the Romans a renewed sense of pride and purpose.
Wow, for the populace, can I hear that again? Do my ears deceive me? A leader actually making third places for everybody and not putting them behind a monetary paywall. That's crazy.
People loved him for it.
You can only
By the way, some
aspire,
of this
gang.
architecture still stands in Italy today. In short, Theodoric's rule brought both stability and a resurgence of power to the Italian peninsula. And although the Gothic superstate he created did not survive his death in 525, later generations continued to celebrate him as Theodoric the Great, later immortalized in Gothic tradition as Dietrich von Bern. And believe it or not, that's the short version of the life and times of Theodoric the Great. He did a lot in his life, and I didn't even get to some of the juicier details. But, and I hate to be abrupt about it, we've got to move on to our last Fire Emblem hero, Kay or Kai. Who is this mysterious boy? What does he have to do with the Roman Empire or Carthage or anything really? We'll explore that in the next episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks so much for supporting History and Games, guys.
Oh, yeah.
See you later.
All right, yo, I might honestly do, because this is so interesting, bro. I'm really, again, not to cannibalize, but we probably spinning back to Shorty. I'm not even... fuck the whole time, man, because apparently it's like, it gets like anthological. So I think Three Houses is like the best like actual claim to it being a congruent story, or at least this is where it's picking off on from Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave sampling with Sophis. So it's either we do Splatoon Raiders or we tap back in with Meg Sullivan. Thank you, Meg Sullivan. That being said, I'm gonna close this stream out real quick and then boot up the method to be able to actually stream what's it called? Hey, Misfit Studios was good. Wagwan. Next episode? Nah, not right now. Because if I do not watch House of the Dragon, I'm gonna keep trying to implement it into the streams, and it's one episode, gang. Honestly, I don't want to push it back any longer because again, what I was saying on Twitter. So again, I know you niggas don't got a bedtime like that, or at least according to my yeah, but at least, you know, I'm honestly talking right now, so let me just get to it, and then we'll probably at least be able to kill another one of these episodes before. All right, so let's get into it. Real quick. I'm gonna catch y'all in a second when I boot this back up. That was so fun though. That was cool as hell. Yo, history, shout out. Deadass.